You know, in the huge world of YouTube, some creators do more than just make videos. They actually build entire belief systems. Today, we're going to dive into the unapologetic philosophy of James Pugh Jr., a creator who's built this really dedicated community all around his unique take on work, morality, and what he calls the online hustle.
So to really get Pugh's point of view, you first have to understand the voice. This is his signature line, his call to action. It's the phrase that tells his audience, hey, it's time to listen up. It just drops you right into his energetic, no-nonsense world.
So how are we going to unpack all this? Well, we've broken down what we're calling the Pugh Doctrine into 5 parts. We'll start with who he is, then get into his core philosophy on work. After that, we'll look at the people he critiques, see how he's turned his views into a business, and finally, ask, what does it all mean?
Okay, first up, the man himself. This is James Pugh Jr. He runs a YouTube channel called Pugh's A View, and he basically uses it as a digital pulpit. It's where he reacts to other YouTubers and just lays out his personal, totally unfiltered worldview for his audience, which is growing really fast.
A huge part of his whole thing is his lingo. You'll hear him all the time calling for the big 3. Now, this isn't just him asking you to click some buttons. For him, it's about mobilizing his community. It's a constant reminder that channel growth is a group effort, a community hustle.
And everything he talks about, everything, really comes down to these 3 pillars: prayer, self-reliance, and a powerful work ethic. He sees them as completely linked up. In his mind, you absolutely can't have one without the other 2.
So let's zoom in on that 3rd pillar, because honestly, it's the core of his entire doctrine, his gospel of work. This is where he really draws a line in the sand, pushing back hard against a mindset he thinks is just, well, destructive.
And this nails the conflict perfectly. On one side, you've got the view he is constantly fighting against, the idea that a job is just a trap, that it's a slave mentality. But then, look at how he frames it. For Pugh, a job isn't a curse. No way. It's an adventure. It's the main way you earn what he calls increments. The money you need to actually build a life for yourself. This biblical idea right here, this is the engine that drives his entire philosophy. He says it all the time. For Pugh, faith isn't some passive thing where you just wish for stuff to happen. Nope. It is a direct call to get up and do something. He argues your beliefs are basically worthless unless you get up and put in the work to make them real.
And this is so important to understanding his philosophy on prayer. Look at this. He's not telling people to pray for a handout from God, not at all. Instead, prayer for him is a tool to make yourself better. You don't pray for $1 million. You pray for the strength and the right mindset to go out and earn it. It's a prayer for character, not for cash.
Now, to really, truly understand what Pugh stands for, you've got to look at what he stands against. He often uses other YouTubers as case studies, as living, breathing examples of the kind of thinking he believes just leads to failure and dependency.
His #1 target is a creator named Scar. So in Pugh's telling of the story, Scar represents the fake hustle, the fraudulent one. Pugh claims that Scar scammed a homeless family by using their story to raise money, only to keep most of it for himself. For Pugh, this is like the ultimate sin, taking advantage of other people's kindness instead of earning your own way.
Then you've got the second figure he focuses on, a homeless woman he calls the Queen. In his breakdown, she's the poster child for just flat-out refusing to work. He points out what he sees as total hypocrisy. She's asking for donations from the very same working people whose lifestyle she calls slavery. For Pugh, this isn't about someone who can't work. It's about someone who chooses not to. And this quote, which he says is from her own stream, is what Pugh holds up as the smoking gun. It's the clearest piece of evidence for his argument, a simple, straight-up statement that perfectly captures the worldview he's fighting against. This is Pugh's go-to phrase for these kinds of situations. When he calls something a sad sight, it's not just him feeling sorry for them. It's a moral judgment. It means he's looking at a person who has potential but, in his eyes, is actively choosing a path of laziness and depending on others. But here's the thing. Pugh doesn't just preach this gospel of work, he lives it. He's taken that same hustle mentality and applied it directly to his own channel, systematically turning his point of view into a business that actually makes money.
So here's how his hustle actually works. He came up with something called the Pugh Promotion Plan, which is a service for other creators trying to make it. It's a really clear step-by-step process where he uses his platform to help other people grow theirs.
For a fee, of course. This is his work ethic in action. Create something of value and then monetize it.
And this isn't just some vague idea either. It's a real, structured business with a clear price list. As you can see, you can buy promotional time on his live streams, or you can even hire him to edit your videos. It just goes to show his entrepreneurial mindset, offering different services at different price points. So, what's the result of all this grinding? Well, according to Pugh himself, within about 8 to 9 months of starting his channel, he was already earning $1,000 a month. And he uses this as proof that his system works. If you put in the work, the increments will come.
But here's what really closes the loop. For Pugh, the hustle isn't just about him getting paid. He constantly uses his YouTube money to fund PayPal giveaways for his subscribers. This brings his whole doctrine full circle. You work hard, you earn your money, and then you give back to the community that helped you get there. It backs up his motto, if one of us make it, we all make it.
Okay, so when you step back and put all these pieces together, what's the bigger picture here? What we're seeing is the rise of the creator not just as an entertainer, but as a kind of moral arbiter, someone who has a clear, marketable ideology.
So at the end of the day, the Pugh doctrine is a complete ecosystem. It's a worldview with a really clear moral code, a definition of what's good and what's bad, and a business model built right on top of it. He has managed to create a space where his values, his content, and his income are all totally woven together. And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating question. As individual creators like James Pugh build these little self-contained worlds complete with their own rules, their own economies, and their own moral codes, it really makes you think. In this new digital landscape, who actually gets to write the rules?